The dead walk. The world is at an end, but the end is only the beginning. This is Becoming Undead, the audio series.
Sorry it's been so long. Melinda spotted a couple of them in the street, and when you see a couple, that means more on the way. So we had to extinguish all the lanterns and turn off anything that made any noise and hunker down until they all went out of earshot. It really only takes one to ruin your party. After we were sure that they were gone, I made a run for the local shop. It's not like the old days, where you could just hop in the car and zoom down the street. No, now it was a whole ordeal. You just had to walk quick and quiet and hope you didn't step on debris that was left in their wake. You also had to worry that the light from the fire that was Old Man Detterman's place didn't attract them. It was a constant orange and red hue. Once I got back with more batteries and a ton of canned spaghetti and ravioli, you know the kind. We ate, and we held each other like we hadn't seen each other for a month, when in actuality it was only really about 12 hours. In this world, though, 12 hours is a lifetime. I said I'd talk more about my sweet Melinda later, and the way things go, there may not be a later, so now's as good a time as any. Either the dead will get us, or the canned pasta will. And I'll tell you what these meatballs are made of. She really is the only thing keeping my head above it all. I remember when I saw her across that crowded outdoor cafe, it was like everyone else froze and went black and white. There was some kind of almost heavenly glow making her stand out from the crowd. I did everything I could to get behind her in line. I was always the shy guy growing up, but around her, that all went away. Our conversation felt like it went on for hours, but in reality, it was just a few minutes. But I knew she was the one on our second date. We were driving to dinner, and a tire blew when we were on a more of a desolate road. And at first, she thought it was a ploy to get up her sundress, and I'm not that shrewd. And once she figured out that I'm not that bright, she didn't even tell me to call the people that get paid to fix it. She sprung to life and changed the tire. It was all it took. She's everything that I'm not. And throughout those early days when humanity still decided to ignore the problem, she stocked up. Canned food, water, all sorts of extra, stuff that we would store in the garage, like wood, things like that. My neighbor, Pat, got really inquisitive, and I had to feed him a line about turning the garage into a workshop. Never even used a regular hammer, let alone a circular saw. He bought it, though. He had a friend over one time, I think his name was Fred or Felix or something, and I saw him point at me, and in the loudest whisper I've ever heard said, "Is that him?" All the neighborhood chatter aside, we were ready for anything, it felt like. So when everything was falling apart, we were huddled up as the newscaster told us about the end, with nothing but the TV illuminating us. We heard the beep from the emergency broadcast system, and we all got the alerts on our phones, and we could kind of hear an echo of everybody else who was still around, or maybe just their body was still around, their phones going off too. We slowly went up the staircase and started taking sledgehammers to the stairs behind us, having moved everything we would need upstairs. We stood at the window, watching the end of the world. We were holding each other. I like to think that I was holding her and protecting her, but ultimately she was protecting me. I come up here on the roof to use the binoculars to check the perimeter. Don't I sound like a military guy now? But I also come up here to record these. I don't want her to see me get emotional. Talking into an old tape recorder with a cassette tape. Such an odd thing to worry about when rotting flesh is up and walking around. talk to you soon. Becoming Undead, the audio series, is a RONCO production, written and performed by Ron Pertee. Music by Paul Billups. Opening voiceover by Jason Stevens of jasonsvoices.com.